Good evening, everybody, and thank you so much for all this reflection about education and about the way to develop education. I'm the Secretary of the Dicastery in the Vatican for promoting integral human development, and we try in this service to emphasize and to support many initiatives in education, local education, meeting people and considering first the needs and also the capacities, the possibilities of each community. We, as said the Pope Francis, we need to meet one another, to listen, children, and also parents and communities, local communities. And we discovered that many people, many actors in these communities can teach and can accompany and can support the children in the communities. We have many teachers in our world. We have many persons who have a very great experience, a memory, a capacity to educate, because to educate first is to lead, to open capacities, to open ways for the children. It's clear that we cannot think development without education. We could say that the first dimension of development, human development, integral development, is to develop education. And we discovered, listening to you, that we are all actors of education in the health, in the university, in the schools, as an actor in politics and economical actors. All we are actors, and also all the association, international organization, and religion. So I think that religions can be actors of education. And we had a conference in Roma 2 months ago to try to support a dialogue between religions about SDGs and about education to the development and to human rights. I think that it's very important to begin listening and considering the needs, the human needs and the human hope of many persons, and especially suffering people in economical situation and context, and in suffering in context of violence. And what I most understood listening to you is that the first question in this debate about inequality and education is the question to access, the right to access, the right of the children and the right of women, girls, women, and the right of all the community to have an access to education, to have an access to health, to have an access to culture, to have an access to employment, to participate to the economic activity. Because when you learn many things, and we can learn, we can discover many knowledges, but it's more important to discover that you can participate to the economical activity. I was in Ethiopia a few months ago, and I had the time in the street one night with young people. And young people said to me, you know, it's clear that our country is developing. And many companies from China, for example, are building our country. But without us, we have no activity in this economy. So we want to participate, we want to be actors in our history and in our community and the future of our country. The question of access is the most important question. So we, on the political level, we have to clarify our choices, our educational choices. What do we want? Not for the future, but now, because the question of future are question now. And the question of education is really the question to prepare, as we understood with the testimony. We understand that today is the great challenge for tomorrow. And we could say that, I think, in the context, the actual context, we have a paradoxal context. We have many means, we have many knowledges, we have many possibilities to open the minds of children, and at the same time, I had the information from UNESCO, more than 600 million children and adolescents cannot really read and count today. So it's the same. It's interesting because it's the same number of the statistic about the impossibility for the young people to have an employment. So we can realize this connection. In our tradition, Christian tradition, we often say that we have 4 principles to support new ways for development and to reduce inequality. The first principle is the human dignity of each child, of each person. Human dignity is for all our initiatives to consider the integrity and the memory and the hope of each person, and never reduce a person to be an instrument to be used for profit, for abuse, for power. It's impossible to continue that. That's the first principle, dignity. The second principle is responsibility. We are all in this responsibility, and we can teach responsibility also, because each one can be responsible of the development of his community, of our world. And the third one is the principle of solidarity. And solidarity is that solidarity between generations, between countries, between continents, but solidarity is to say that I need you and perhaps you need me. But this solidarity, this consideration, mutual hospitality and mutual consideration appears as the role and the most important moral roles in this question of education and development. And I thank you so much for all that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Monsignor. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we want to get some questions. Thank you so much, Monsignor. Thank you, everyone here. Thank you, those people watching online. You heard it very clearly what needs to be done. Early childhood development is key. Access and quality are fundamental. Partnerships, we go nowhere if we don't go together. Teacher training, digital literacy, educate girls. The economic impact is overwhelming. We know this is both morally right. We know it's good economics. There was a world leader who not long ago said that cutting budget deficits in education is a little like making an overloaded plane lighter by removing its engine. At first it may feel like you're flying high, but it won't take long until you feel the impact. So let's not forget, folks, the impact of what everyone's talked about today. The impact, yes, it's on the economy, yes, it's on employability, yes, it's on ending tolerance, on ending poverty, but it's also very much about building tolerance. With education comes caring, with education comes confidence, with education comes civic responsibility. As we heard from our two young leaders today, education lights a fire. Look no further than those two people. It is, dare I say, the magic bullet. Now with that, we go to a couple of questions, but first please join me in thanking very much our panellists for a great conversation. All right. Okay, Lucas, question to you from Maria, wherever Maria is. Thank you, Maria. What was the one thing that helped you most in overcoming the challenges you had at school? One or two main things that helped you overcome challenges.
So I can say the first thing is I just wanted to get out of the slum life because I'd been exposed to another life. So just that is what motivated me. I just wanted to get out of the slum. But later on, I realized it was not just getting out of the slum, but it was about helping others also to not just get out, but make that place better for us, even if it means we have to stay there. So that really motivated me.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, a very popular one, anonymous, to Mr. Yvetot. How can private companies like Orange use technology, particularly mobile technology? How can Orange use mobile technology to increase access to education?
Well, we have had originally a first program to develop the training of teachers in remote areas in Madagascar, and using mobile technology with a very specific curricula that has been defined with Ministry of Education in this country. So this is a first example to train teachers and to increase the number and the preparation of the teachers for the new curricula. Then to create on-spot schools that are connected to sources of education, and this is all the question linked with the increase and the enlargement of coverage of internet access in the various countries where we are present. I think that there is a great effort that has been done by all the telecommunication operators, and I'm sure that before the year 2025, we will have a very large coverage, even in rural areas for the whole continent of Africa. Then after, to provide, as I said, through partnerships with various type of providers of education content, to give the means so that this access is affordable, which is a key point, and it can be free, of course, for a certain level, and at most affordable on the content side, but also on the internet access side. And this is something on which we are working to diminish the costs of this type of access to education content linked with capacity, telecommunication capacity access.
Excellent, thank you very much. Okay, I'm being given all sorts of hand signals, so I'm going to go with two more questions, if I may. Juliana, Ms. Lindsay, and then Ms. Prepar. Okay, Ms. Lindsay, one from Godfrey. Do you think a multisectoral approach is needed, is the key to reduce inequalities in the field of education?
It absolutely is. Whoever brought it up is very perceptive. You'll notice the challenge or the solution is not just in the classroom. It's not just a teacher. From the things that were mentioned earlier, it's social. It's helping the children make sure that there's less poverty in the home so that the family has an incentive to send them to school and not keep them at home. It's health-wise in terms of menstrual care, in terms of STDs, et cetera. It's infrastructure in terms of having decent roads to get to school, for example. So it crosses all of these different areas. If a poor Ministry of Education is trying to solve it alone, they're not going to succeed. It needs a whole of government approach.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, folks, last one. We're going to, you know where we're heading, don't you, Ms. Prepar? To you. It's a great question, actually. It's very simple. And it is based on everything you've heard, based on everything you've seen, based on everything you've experienced, based on the challenges, are you positive or are you negative?
I am positive. I mean, Ghana recently launched free education for senior high schools, but free does not necessarily mean quality. I do know we will get there. As I said, if everybody does their part, we will get there. I am positive, but then it will take a lot of work. So I'm positive.
On that note, everyone, back to work. Thank you very much.